so many new bands have referenced Gang of Four. They sound not exactly like it, but there's clear references, from bands like Block Party or Franz Ferdinand or the Futureheads or any of those bands. So I think that their generation are kind of teenagers and 20 somethings, and I think they know that they've read and they've heard that Gang of Four were kind of an influence on these bands, so they come and check out Gang of Four, and no, he's right. I mean, there's most of the audience that we get. There are some people of our generation, but most of them are a much younger generation.
I think a lot of people of my generation, we know the Gang of Four also was a band who was very political active. You still are?
I think I think our lyrics have always been quite interesting and very much not one of them, very much not the normal kind of things you get in pop music, and that remains the case now. I mean, we're just finishing off a new album, and I think the lyrics are fantastic and very. They don't follow the normal path, but they're very Gang of Four.
Are there also songs that you can't play anymore because the situation has changed? Or?
Well, I think they're opposite. I think I was going to say kind of the opposite. There are some songs that feel a bit to us old-fashioned. I mean, like Armour Light Rifle, for example, we don't play anymore. But I mean, if you think of a song like Ether, for example, the description of struggling to cope with being a comfortable Western European, which sort of at the same time there's all this other stuff going on, which you experience through your TV screen or the media you consume. So there's torture going on somewhere or other, and almost like the price you pay for your luxury is someone else being tortured, and that, I mean, horribly goes on in Iraq. We horribly still have wars about oil, which is exactly the same then.
When Ether was first written, we were in Leeds in the late 70s, and of course what was happening then, the thing that was disturbing us and many other people was that in Northern Ireland, torturing was going on by British forces on IRA suspects and so on, and that was incredibly disturbing to us. But now the same song could apply to Guantanamo, or the things haven't changed.
I think what has dated has been pop songs. So there's some classic pop songs, like Walk On. Okay. The classic pop songs like Walk On By will never date, or classic songs like Close to You by the Carpenters, or even ABBA, Waterloo. Those sort of pop songs don't. But they sort of date, but you can enjoy them forever. But then you've got the other types of pop songs, like, I don't know, Spandau Ballet, for example, where it was made at a particular time of a method of production. You can hear the drum machine. You can identify the synthesizer. Even the silly words.
It wasn't a classic then, and it's not a classic now. Yeah. And that's unfortunate. Gold. What does that mean? What's that song's about?
How can I find the time to write the next line? I want the truth to be said. Now that's a good.
Story's told.
It's gold. It's gold. It's gold.
What is the most classic Gang of Four song?
Well, it's difficult to say because I don't think there's any. There's so many different types of Gang of Four stuff. I mean, you could say Anthrax was particularly classic, or you might say A Man in Uniform was, but they're completely different, and I think that's so it's hard to. It's not like Gang of Four, not like sort of like the Ramones or someone who do a certain style, we kind of do a lot of different things, which is part of what makes it kind of enjoyable for us. But what's the classic Gang of Four?
Well, I think some of the tunes we're playing tonight, I mean, Heat's End in the Army, for example, has got things that I enjoy every time we do it. One, because every time we play it, we improvise, so it's always different. We swap the vocals, there's sort of a series of it sort of describes a sort of, you know, banal domestic situation, which then extrapolates out into becoming about fascism and militarism in a kind of crazy way. But musically, there's a bit of guitar and bass, and the bass and the drums come together, and it's got this improvisational, chaotic element, which always makes it different. That's one of the songs that I think still, I notice with audiences, they're still sort of looking at it as if it's, because it is, as if it's a very radical song. And I enjoy that a lot. But that said, Anthrax, where, you know, Andy plays great slabs of guitar, and again the vocals swap over, and it's kind of, you know, I don't know what a classic for song is, but those songs still, to me, seem to communicate with an audience directly. And that people say to me, "This is new music." You know, the kids say they're surprised that it's old music, and that's because it's. I mean, I wouldn't say it's got more to do with jazz than rock music, but because it's got a lot of improvisation in it, it's not really fixed, which is probably why they have a life.
I think also one of the reasons that the Gang of Four songs are radical and are sometimes a bit shockingly different to other people's songs is that it's for us it's not entirely about the melody and which chord. Should we go a D minor now, or shall we do an A suspended seventh? You know, it's not all about that, and it's not all about the vocal top line. You know, it's about many things. Those things come into it, absolutely, but it's about, well, if you go over there and you hit this thing, and then we use that as a beat, and then I'll improvise here, and then I'll say something about something else, and we'll do that, and then we'll stop, and then everybody will wonder what we're doing, and then we'll start again. And you know, it becomes more like a mixture of a manifesto and a drama. You know, it's sort of like almost like a bit of theatre. I mean, those other things of melody and chords and stuff come into it, or, you know, but it's not the main, it's not the only thing. You know.